Good day to everyone, it's Jonathan here, back in the Communal Garden. Thought I'd do another update. I've tried to stay as busy as possible, not feeling too bad today. And thought I'd just go around what I've been doing recently. These are yew trees that I bought at Squire's at Buckland, and I've repotted them again. They're in smaller pots. I repotted them yesterday, and including that sweet chestnut which was planted a year or so ago, and it came up in one of the beds. That's been repotted. Another sweet chestnut, and another one that's free, so they've all been put in bigger pots, and they'll be left there now over winter. Couple more yew trees, and I was lucky enough at the west end of my block to find these baby hornbeam trees growing in a crack of dirt in between the building and the path. So I managed to dig them out with a screwdriver, and I potted them up, so I've got 5 little hornbeams here. Result. So this is where all the little trees are at the moment. Over here we've got a bay laurel, or Alcamila, that was repotted the once, it's doing well. This one here also came up in a path, and I cast a seed a couple of years ago, and this is actually a plum, a little yellow plum, mirabelle type, or similar to a buckthorn really. And again, that's been put into a bigger pot, so that will keep that going over winter. And I originally first got these plums from the ruined sports centre at Annerley, where the graffiti walls are. Won't be long now and the potatoes will be ready. Sadly, there's one on the surface and it's starting to turn a bit green, but it gives you an indication that there are potatoes under there, which is good. So when they start to turn yellow, I'll be able to take them out. The common hogweed is pretty much finished now. It's done very well. And the flies and the tiny bees, they've just loved it, really. They've loved it. And then we get the joy of all the big seeds. And there's going to be a lot of them. But there's still a few flowers on here. And there is actually a fly at the moment. There you go. And they love it as a couple, actually. But I've really been happy with this common hogweed. And we have a couple of cyclamen coming up that I planted, probably also from a garden centre somewhere, but I'm not sure if it was Squires at Buckland in Surrey. But I'm thinking they're a bit early, probably a heterofolium or something similar. There's one there, and there's one there just starting to come up. It's odd, I've planted quite a few tomatoes, and the only one that seems to be properly ahead is the one that's constrained in a pot. I've got a pot here with mint in it, and this is the one that's actually producing earlier. Weird. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 trusses, and I'll put a new stronger cane in, and it's doing very well. And this was a commercial Pomodorino tomato that I grew from seed. Also, the gladioli is finally starting to break. Violas in the top of this pot are still doing well. I've had to try and keep deadheading the flowers off. And it's all go now. Spring has gone and summer has arrived, and flowers have definitely changed. The heuchera is still just about going. We've got a yellow anti-rhinum, which has been going for quite some time now. And the marjoram is now flowering. This is a rudbeckia, and I'm amazed at the amount of flowers on it, and there's more to come. I'm quite happy with that. Rudbeckia.
That would be fantastic if it would. Let's just wait for
Echinacea. This is an echinacea, and I've heard that they don't last more than 2 years, the plant itself, but we'll just have to see. The Nicotiana sylvestris is also on the go. Very nice looking plant. Leaves are a bit sticky and fragrant. So we've got the echinacea, the rudbeckia and the Nicotiana flowering at the same time, along with the Verbena bonariensis. So this is the one that I planted later, and you can see the flowers on the Verbena bonariensis, including the one that was here earlier. So it's starting to look pretty good here, and it looks like the parsley pot has established itself well. That'll be good. I'll have some nice parsley to harvest next year. Core blimey. Looking very nice, lots of flower. I've done a little bit more work on this bed as well. And these 4 plants here were given to me as tiny seedlings by a friend, Dash Graffiti, friend of mine, Dash, or Nathan, and he thought they were Californian sage, but it turns out they're probably not Californian sage. They could be a salvia of some description. But they're looking quite good. They got purple tops, which is a bit strange. It's almost like it's got 2 different types of leaf. So either salvia or some kind of sage. Not entirely sure. Lunatics come out. And I'll put a Hebe in as well. And it's looking pretty good here. Also, I've heard that cardboard is good for the compost. Apparently it's brown and it's carbon, so I've put quite a bit of cardboard in the compost now. Lots and lots of tiny little flies in there. Tomato leaf, fruit. And if I'm going to put cardboard in, I might as well put in a broken up egg box, so that's in there as well. Slowly filling up, but it will drop at the same time, so maybe it will never get particularly high. The mullein is flowering. Verbascum, mullein. Two of them. The others are a little bit slow, but they're getting there. Tiarella is still going. That's the yellow Achillea in the background. Achillea, hopefully it'll be bigger next year, and it's supposed to be bigger, but it could even be a dwarf one. I've cut the broad beans down to the ground now. The tomatoes here are growing, they're just a bit on the slow side. Maybe it's because it's slightly less light here. But there are tomatoes. And the bean frame is doing quite well as well. And the morning glory flower. Nice colour. But we have beans. Look, we've got beans. Phone. Video. Yes, the beans are doing very well. Hoping for a good crop of beans on here.
Are you recording or talking with someone?
Recording. One lonely sweet pea flower, just one lonely sweet pea flower. Ah, very sad. But it just depends on the climate and the situation. Lots of honeybees on the lavender and bumbles, which reminds me of Mayfield the other day that I went to. But it's good to see honeybees as well as bumbles. So it's obvious that the local hive has got the message across, and the honeybees are collecting for their stores. Ah yes, in this corner I planted Alcamila Mollis, and these are quite nice. They have yellow flowers, and when they get rained on, the water beads on the hairs. So Alcamila Mollis, I'm hoping that it'll like this slightly dry position and fill this corner up. That'd be really nice. Agapanthus is still going. And hopefully that'll return each year. Yes, I'm not doing bad at all, methinks. Summer is marching on. I've spent quite a lot of time at the back here. I've done a lot of work and it's slowly evolving. I had the hose out last night and I went over pretty much all of it with the hose. And I've been planting more trees, basically repotting trees. And the transplanted ivies that I done earlier, they're starting to grow now. They're looking quite nice. Have to figure out what I'm doing with them. And I've given the coleuses a little bit more water, and they're looking pretty happy. No doubt I repotted them too. absolutely potty. And we'll just stop here for a few minutes. We're up to 15 minutes now, so we'll end on a view of the garden itself. Smashing. And I think we'll have to leave it there. Thanks for joining me. Give us a thumbs up and I'll catch you later on a different video, probably the garden. Take care everyone. Bye for now.